The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution is established under Article 157 of the Constitution. Under that article, the Director of Public Prosecutions has only one power, which is not a function, and that is the power to direct the Inspector General to investigate any matter that comes by him in any other form, but only when it is warranted. But Article 157(6) provides that the Director of Public Prosecutions shall have power to exercise state powers of prosecutions. Those state powers of prosecutions are elongated in the ODPP Act that now explain how does he exercise state powers of prosecutions. In exercising state powers of prosecutions, one of the things that is expected to do is to set standards of prosecutions and also to formulate policy to assist in the exercise of prosecutorial powers. And these are the policies that he has come up with, and these are the policies that Mule is going to talk about that direct these prosecutors and myself when we are doing our work. And when prosecutors don't adhere to those policies, we also have our internal mechanisms on how we deal with those issues. Article 157(9) provides that the DPP shall exercise those powers in person or by officers subordinate to him, who include these public prosecutors. So in exercising those powers, how do they exercise them? I go back to 157(6), that the DPP shall have powers to exercise state powers of prosecutions, and may, kindly, it says may, which it does not say shall, may, institute criminal proceedings, may. 2, may take over, may terminate. That may gives a discretion. It does not say shall, may. His function is to exercise state powers of prosecution, and in doing that, he may institute. If you go to 157(10) provides that the Director of Public Prosecutions shall not be directed by anybody in exercising his powers. However, 157(11) provides that the Director of Public Prosecutions shall have regard to public interest, the interest of the administration of justice, and the need to prevent the abuse of the court process. Now, this one works together with the may. So when these prosecutors make decisions to charge or do not make decisions to charge, one of the things that Mr. Mule will talk about is what they consider. But one of the most important factors that they must consider is that it has to be in the public interest. Now, being in the public interest is subjective. Criminal law, public interest, and discretion are not scientific when it comes to criminal law. So you cannot tell a prosecutor to tell me whether this roll of bang is an offense or not. It depends on the circumstances. And we cannot say that law is impervious to our surrounding circumstances. It's impervious to what is going on today. Our previous speaker has already said today that we should be considering the principles. I think the police officers here know very well that policing can have an effect of systematic discrimination, just like prosecution, where you know the principles, you know the people who are behind these things, but they are never brought for prosecution. The same thing you also talk about that prosecutors don't, sometimes are not very serious with people who have money. So the principles who are behind these offenses, among all criminal justice agencies, they are known. If you go to a village and you ask, who are the women who brew changa here, everybody will tell you. If you tell them who are the people who bring counterfeits, they will tell you because they are known and they have money, but they are never arrested. Secondly, if you go all over Nairobi, in every corner there is a bar and winery where people buy alcohol. It is not a Nyeri problem, it is not a Kenya problem, it is a human problem and a generational problem. This malevolence can only be dealt with if we look at the core issue. Because today we are talking about people who are selling counterfeits, illegal brews. But I'm not hearing us saying, we also have people amongst us who overdrink. Legal, isn't it? But they overdrink. And why some laws are created that are personal to you, things that you do to yourself but they are illegal, like overdrinking, or if you stay in your house and you are involved, let's say in pornography, somebody says, but this is me. Why are you coming after me? The reason is that we are protecting you, we are protecting the society and anybody else you will meet. So even that person who is overdrinking legal brew, but overdrinking and is affecting others, is creating a problem. If we say that the people who can afford can do whatever they want, because now we are talking about cheap and affordable alcohol. Can you imagine? Because we have agreed that it is acceptable. So we have to go for cheap and affordable. What about the people who are buying, maybe, for example, what is not cheap, what is affordable, what is legal, but they are the ones who are also influencing other people to now partake what is illegal because the others cannot afford. And what we are doing is actually going to be systematic discrimination. It is still policing and prosecuting people who do not have. Because it is the poor who go for illegal, who go for cheap, and they are the ones who are being arrested. And that is the public interest and the subjectiveness that the prosecutor has to use the lens of public interest to balance. So there are nuances in here, and nobody can deal with them alone. But if we find that prosecutors have done something which is not acceptable, then everybody is allowed to write to the Director of Public Prosecutions or come to the office and see us, because just like all other human beings, we have people who are. If we are asked in this room today, if we start with the police, supposing every policeman who is consuming illegal brew, buying or selling, is arrested and taken to court, ask me how many of us would remain. We have prosecutors here. If you ask them how many take illegal brew, maybe sell, ask me how many of us will be counted. So sometimes we have to be subjective, and I like what I think it was from Counterfeit. He said that our actions should also reflect our pursuit to protect the income. Did you say income generating, or a generation that is a productive generation of our society? Because otherwise, if you tell the prosecutor that you must charge and take to court, then you do not know the effect that that action has on anybody else or on the society. Public interest includes the prosecutor saying, for example, in Kibera, you can get one charge sheet with 50 people, drunk and disorderly, or drinking after hours, one charge sheet. Makadara is the busiest court in East Africa. Policemen can come with one charge sheet with 30 people, such that even the court cannot call each one of them individually to take a plea. They take in groups. So in Makadara, you can have 300 pleas in a day. Supposing we were filling our jails with 300 people in a day, what would happen? So I'm asking all of us to just be reasonable and to be humane in what we are doing. The work of the prosecutor is to enforce the law as it is. A prosecutor is a custodian of the process to make sure that people who should go to court and be prosecuted are prosecuted. Those who are not supposed to go to court will not go to court, and Mr. Mule will explain that. At the same time, it is not the wish of these prosecutors. They are part of the society. They are also affected by these issues, either infected or affected. They are part of society, our children, our wives, our husbands. So we cannot look at them as if they are not sensitive to what is happening. It is affecting all of us. And I think it is our country, it is our society, and it is our generation. And finally, we talked about vessels that transport, I think, ethanol or release it or whatever. I think at an opportune time we have to look at, there are provisions now in POCAMLA, Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act, which deal with instruments of crime. Anything which is an instrument of crime is forfeitable to the state. but you'll have to justify and prove to the state that it is an instrument of crime and it is tainted. And also, we also have to be more careful about online shopping, and also not only shopping, but even online, shopping, and also food is now delivered in homes, isn't it? And some of these people who deliver service providers, they do not have open spaces. They do them in go-downs and everything, and nobody knows what is going on in there. So we just have to be a bit sensitive to technology, and also we also have to be sensitive about laws that were created to protect also the accused person. Public interest is also what is in the interest of the accused person. For example, consuming illicit brew is also harmful to the consumer, isn't it? Why aren't we putting enough effort also to deal with the consumer? So I think there are issues on the table that we need to deal with that go beyond prosecution, that also really make this matter more complex, calling upon not only multi-agency, but multi-directional, multi-subject-oriented, so that we can have different lenses within which we deal with this. Thank you so much. I hope the DPP will address you.
Tunaahidi mashtaka yenye haki na usawa.